What is one thing which AI can't copy from humans? Which I would like to know that. What kind of a thing would it be that humans can do but AI can't?
Yeah.
And
yeah. Actually, it's an excellent question, and in fact, this is probably the single most vital question for now.
Right.
Which is, what are all the things that AI can do? What can it do? It turns out that as we speak, AI has no possibility of doing all of what we do. However, depending on the jobs that we do, sometimes it could do 20% of our jobs, 20% of our work, 1,000 times better. For some people, it might be able to do 50% of their job, 1,000 times better. But in no job can they do all of it. And so this is the great observation. Because of that, every one of us should apply AI to automate, to become an assistant to help us with that either 20%, 40%, or 50%. People ask me, you know, Jensen, is AI going to take your job? And I tell them, absolutely not. The person who uses AI to automate that 20% or 50% is going to take your job.
Hold on to your portfolios, because Nvidia is on the brink of a monumental leap in the tech industry. This AI chip titan is preparing to unveil its new Blackwell architecture, and the buzz could hardly be louder. This isn't just another upgrade. It's poised to be an industry game-changer with innovations that have insiders buzzing about its potential impact. What's more, demand for Nvidia's latest offering is already being described as insane by CEO Jensen Huang, signaling that this could be the company's most pivotal moment yet. As Nvidia gears up for what's expected to be an explosive fourth quarter, all eyes are on this tech juggernaut to see where it will stand 6 months down the line. With major players like Microsoft, Meta Platforms, Amazon, and Alphabet in the mix, the stakes are higher than ever. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
Yeah, so it just seems like that move that Nvidia had over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks has been pretty incredible. You had a pretty substantial pullback. You know, we had last quarter, we had concerns about the Blackwell chip supply and demand kind of balance. Would they be able to meet demand? Would that lead to a pullback in revenue? Had we pulled revenue expectations too far forward? And we've kind of reversed and approaching, you know, what seems to be us asking the same question again, which is, will the CapEx spend be there to kind of support the multiple and the revenue expectations? I would imagine that the other hyperscalers are continuing to spin because, as Tim said, it does seem somewhat of a situation where you have to continue to spin, you have to be in the game. This is essentially what all of these are leaning on in terms of margin expansion and supporting the multiples that they have now gotten. I'm not sure if next week necessarily is going to be the quote-unquote moment of truth, only because I think for some of them, Google, for example, Amazon, for another example, I think some of the expectations of the multiples reflect that expectations have pulled back a bit. So I do think, you know, from one Mag 7 player to the other, the expectations and the earnings multiple reflect that perhaps there is an opportunity to trade here ahead of earnings.
Nvidia, known for pushing boundaries in the AI domain, has built an unparalleled track record with its cutting-edge GPUs and comprehensive tech stack. For those not immersed in the jargon, a GPU or graphics processing unit is the heart of computer graphics and artificial intelligence capabilities. In other words, it's like the brainpower behind your computer's ability to process information quickly and in large volumes. Nvidia's prowess in this market has resulted in revenues reaching a whopping $30 billion in a single quarter, with gross margins impressively seated above 70%. But just as a particularly excited bull in a market might ask, bull market, for those chuckling at the pun, how can Nvidia possibly top that? The answer lies in the highly anticipated Blackwell launch. Market analysts and tech gurus alike have been abuzz with speculation and anticipation. Nvidia isn't just offering a faster chip, it's unrolling a comprehensive suite of innovations. Think of it like upgrading from a bicycle to a spaceship, ideal for a world racing toward AI domination. These innovations include Nvidia's most advanced chip yet, alongside a top-notch preventative maintenance system and a 5th-generation NVDA link, ensuring robust communication among up to 576 GPUs. If that's not enough to make tech enthusiasts' hearts skip a beat, then Mr. Jensen Huang's insane demand label certainly is. But this overwhelming demand isn't just speculation. In the company's recent earnings call, Jensen Huang emphasized that demand currently exceeds supply, a sentiment he believes will persist into the coming year. And that's not just wishful talking. Revisiting Nvidia's previous launch, the Hopper architecture, we find a promising story. 6 months post-launch, Nvidia's stock soared by nearly 100%, driven by surging demand and record data center revenues. If the past is prologue, Blackwell could emulate or even exceed this performance. Nvidia's strategic market maneuvers have propelled it into unprecedented echelons. Just look at the recent stats on its market capitalization. It's more mind-boggling than a riddle on Wall Street. Nvidia's market cap has not only ballooned to astonishing heights, but has even surpassed the combined totals of entire countries' stock markets, such as Germany and Italy. Yes, you heard that right. As chief economist at Apollo, Torsten Sluck points out, Nvidia's valuation puts it ahead of economic heavyweights. This is a reflection of a deeper global trend, where U.S. stock market shares are increasingly held by foreign investors, a testament to the worldwide confidence in Nvidia's potential. But before we go any further, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market. So click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates.
When we were thinking about what we were going to talk about on the show today, we thought, oh,
and we think long and hard.
We actually do. We have planning meetings. We talk about this long,
the healthy
for a long
debate.
time.
We've been meeting since Wednesday to talk about the show.
It's a healthy.
Trying to have a healthy discussion.
I think the big question here with big tech earnings is, does it confirm the overarching thesis that has been driving the tech trade, and that is the robustness of the AI trade, right? And so, to that end, Grasso, can we separate it? Can we separate what Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft are going to say from NVIDIA's performance, or are they inextricably intertwined?
Well, they're all clients of NVIDIA.
Right.
So that's a good spot to be in. NVIDIA is still 80 to 85% of the market. NVIDIA is the one that's actually getting revenue now, not sometime in the future. Can you separate them? Sure, you have done that. NVIDIA's up 200%, 185%, 186%. The rest of them are not. So we have separated them already. But wouldn't you say this is somewhat priced to perfection? And I've been positive on the market. I've been positive on NVIDIA. I missed NVIDIA. I got too cute around that 110 level. Thought it was going to come back in. That ship has sailed. I'm going to wait until we do a markets in turmoil special, probably to buy the next leg of NVIDIA for me.
Don't
right
be
now.
Cheeky Grasso.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
It's
true, right?
Time to buy.
So when you really think about it, though, what do we have? The bar's been lowered for earnings. I think most of these companies can step over them. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the year-to-date performance on most of them, I think they need a breather.
This forces us to dissect why Nvidia is surging so spectacularly. The company's growth strategy is not confined to the US. Nvidia has been fortifying its presence globally, including aggressive expansion efforts in countries like India and Thailand. The objective here is straightforward: an establishment and enhancement of local semiconductor supply chains, all the while riding the AI wave predicted to be worth a staggering $10 trillion by 2025, according to some analyst forecasts. Now, let's not gloss over the numbers because they are part of this narrative's heartbeat. Nvidia's stock has witnessed an upward trajectory that would make a roller coaster look tame, soaring over 236% in the past year. Now, imagine riding that wave. Exciting, isn't it? And it's not just Nvidia benefiting from this meteoric rise. Exchange-traded funds associated with Nvidia have also flourished, amplifying its market influence. Yet, stock market narratives come with their own set of disclaimers. While Nvidia may not continue its triple-digit quarterly growth indefinitely, given the dizzying heights it has already scaled, this doesn't spell doom and gloom. After all, maintaining its current growth rates would defy even the loftiest of investor expectations. What remains crucial to understand is that Nvidia's valuation is more than just numbers. It's a reflection of the trust and faith investors have in the company's innovations and market strategy. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Let's say, Mike, that a lot of these hyperscalers say, we're not going to spend as much. We don't anticipate the spend to be at the same pace as we have been spending of late. What happens to this trade, Mike? Is it a positive, as Tim posits, Or is it a negative overall?
A positive for the hyperscalers, if you're talking about Amazon, Microsoft, and so on. Well, I think it could be okay for them. First of all, I kind of push back a little bit on the notion that they aren't participants yet, because, of course, AWS, Azure, these are products that are material for these businesses already. We can't ignore that. Now, have they developed AI out to the level that I think everybody is anticipating? I think people are sort of losing the difference essentially between their cloud products, which do depend heavily on NVIDIA GPUs. Let's be honest. I mean, I was a longtime subscriber to AWS, and we were spending quite a lot of money to basically get access to all of that. So you have to separate that from an AI product that's recognizable to the average consumer, something like a Chat GPT. I think that's what everybody thinks is going to fall out of all of this, not recognizing that these companies are already generating billions of dollars off of their cloud stack, which is a large part of where that NVIDIA money is coming from.
Right, and the consumer side of it may not be the biggest sort of gainer of it all. I mean, it could be the enterprise side of it, which we're not necessarily hearing about at this point. But Tim, let's say the hyperscalers say we're not going to spend as much, and that's a positive for them. Negative for NVIDIA.
Sure. Yeah, I do think that there's been kind of this dynamic that's driven the NVIDIA numbers and has allowed the street also just to kind of project what it's going to look like next quarter. But I do think it does get back, and I think Google's a good example because they are kind of caught in the middle of this. I think we want to understand what the ROI is on their spend. They as much as anybody. So we want to know what the spend is. We want to know what the ROI is on the spend. And then you get back to their core consumer business. I mean, their core search, which is obviously on some level this dynamic which may be getting threatened, but is still expected to kind of grow. I think the street's at 12.4% on consensus, and that the EPS line is supposed to grow roughly 13.5%. It leads you to a place where Google, of all of these names, I think should be the most defensive, though, based upon the multiple relative to itself. And again, at the EPS where the street is, this is a $200 stock if it's trading at 20 times, and that's something I think is interesting.
Michael, how has the positioning been like into this very big week of earnings?
Bullish pretty much in all of them, actually. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, look, NVIDIA traded, 4.7 million contracts, over 55 million contracts, including index and ETF options today. But calls are outpacing puts in all of these names, and by a considerable amount. I mean, we're talking about probably 2 times as many upside bets being made. And, I think it's more just a skittishness about the fact that the stocks have come so far, NVIDIA maybe being the most notable example in this, because, I mean, I guess what multiple we assign to this depends a little bit on what you think they're going to do. But I'm looking at maybe $4 a share for full year 2025. So that gets us to 35 times, next calendar year. That doesn't seem overly expensive. That's more than 40% year-on-year growth. So that's PEG ratio less than 1. I mean, that's growth at a reasonable price.
In wrapping up this fascinating dive into NVIDIA's bid to revolutionize the stock market, one salient point resonates. NVIDIA finds itself at a strategic crossroads, well poised for substantial financial growth. The Blackwell architecture, along with its unparalleled demand, suggests the potential for ongoing robust revenue streams and solid market positioning. It's tantamount to booking a front-row seat to a paradigm shift in the AI and technology sectors. And who wouldn't want that? The stock currently holds a coveted spot within the global financial narrative, with a year-to-date growth of 191.49% as reported by Benzinga Pro. As we peer into the forecasted crystal ball, NVIDIA promises not just potential gains, but a continuous climb toward even greater heights. While it remains challenging to predict specifics, NVIDIA's path appears brightly illuminated by current achievements and future aspirations. So, as we ponder NVIDIA's role in not just shaping AI, but also redefining stock market dynamics, a question emerges. What are your thoughts? Are you already in the line, eagerly awaiting NVIDIA's next chapter, or are you cautiously observing? Engage with us. Let's traverse this thrilling market journey together, keeping professionalism and keen insight as our guiding lights. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.